Hello and welcome to the Bear Experiment Podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo. And once again, we got our favorite girlfriend, Jax, in the house. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Happy to be here again.
Happy to have you. It's been a long time since we last spoke.
It's been a minute. I like the evolution of the Bear Experiment here with our headphones and we look professional now.
We're only growing and getting more better with everything that we're doing. Little by little, we're learning as we move forward.
We are.
So last time that we spoke was we were trying to figure that out. Was it Thanksgiving?
It was in the holidays, so it was between one and the other.
It was definitely right after that weekend of Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
The last time that we got together, where we had done 2 podcasts here with our buddy Alex.
Yes.
For Story is Us.
Story is Life.
Story is Life.
Yes.
Story is Life.
Yes.
My bad. Sorry about that.
She'll get it right before the next one, Alex. She'll get it right.
I'll get it. So we caught up with him, and I'm definitely following all of his content, which I am following his evolution and his growth.
His healing journey.
His healing journey, which I love that he's out there and he's putting all his vulnerabilities out there.
And I think it's good to get a man's point of view, through all of this. He doesn't like the dating apps. He's tried them. He doesn't like them. I have another male friend that lives in Georgia that tells me the same shit. He's like, for every, 10 likes that I send out, I might get one.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same experience that we do, where we just get on and we have choices and we have options and you know what I mean? It's quick, but for men it's not. So
he's not doing a dating app at all?
No.
Oh,
he's going out there.
The teenie. He does the teenie.
He does the teenie.
So, which I think is the legit way kind of to go about dating.
I just don't think the teenie is the place. I mean, he's getting the attention.
That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is
going out there, yes.
Actually meeting somebody, kind of like that face to face. Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
You put a name to a face.
We've been hanging out at Boogie. So after we record our podcast, which you totally inspired me to start and do it.
Girlfriend,
and
I told you, you're a natural.
It's fun. I'm not gonna lie, and it kind of brings me back to our radio days. And I know you still work there, but it takes me back.
Yeah.
To when you would see the DJs talking, and you're like, man, can I talk shit for 4 hours? And guess what? We can. So it's definitely been a lot of fun recording with him, seeing a man's point of view, a man's perspective, questioning him, challenging him as well. But he'd rather go out in person, hangs out at the teenie a lot. We've been going to Boogies, but then we go as friends with Valerie, who's also on the podcast with us. So he's not going to pick up anybody because he's with 2 chicks, you know?
Right.
So
and girls are very kind of territorial when it comes to that.
Yeah.
The approach, what are you doing here with 2 girls?
Exactly.
What's a guy doing being buddy with other girls?
Exactly.
I think that we're very, very, more than men.
Yes. But, I mean, Alex's situation is interesting because I met Alex in my early 20s. And I've seen the evolution of Alex, right?
Yeah.
And to see him now as a grown man and, hearing his journey and hearing him be vulnerable and emotional, that's not something we're used to seeing from a man.
Absolutely
not. Sometimes that's seen as weakness in a man. And he's like, no.
100%.
He's like, I need to go through this to become the strong, independent, confident man.
And it is great that he's putting it out there because somebody is going to relate to that level of pain and vulnerability and just decisions that he's having to make on a day-by-day case. And at the same time, what's helping him through that kind of evolution, right? Of just, bettering yourself as a person, right?
And being true to your feelings at that moment. Because sometimes we just put shit away and we pretend that it's not going to affect us. And then, 5 years later, you wake up one morning and you're like, why am I so angry? And it's because you didn't deal with that healing process that you should.
Why am I so pissed off?
Yeah, no. Why doesn't things work out? Why do I push people away? That's one of my things. I've talked to him about it before. It's like, I considered going to therapy. It's 5 years that I've been single, and it's like I meet the nice guys, and I'm like, I don't want him. It's too easy. And then you meet the one that doesn't pay attention to you. You're like, ooh, papi, ven pa acá, know? And it's like, why do I do that? Why do I go after the challenges instead of going with what I say I want?
So I've given that a lot of thought as well, and I think
that we're fucked in the head.
Other than that, that's check number 1. I think that a lot of it also might have to do with, are we truly ready to get involved in a relationship? Or is it just kind of like, everybody's telling you know, you're getting older. You need to meet somebody.
I don't get that. As a matter of fact, I've actually been applauded by other women, you know, for being independent, for not needing a man, for being career driven. The freaking assistant at the dentist office told me, she said, "¿Para qué tú quieres un macho que te venga a dar dolor de cabeza? Like, why do you want a man to come bring you troubles in your life?"
Oh, I mean, right. Just to be with somebody. You just don't want to do that.
Exactly. And you think about it and you're like, in theory, that sounds right. You know, I don't want someone, of course, I don't want someone to bring a headache, but I would love somebody to enjoy the blessings in life, my success in life.
You want to build with somebody. You want to grow with somebody,
100%.
right? You want somebody that, you know, if you know that shit's going to hit the fan, you can count on them.
Yeah. And I think you need to come to terms with what we imagine as our ideal person isn't it. Like, what is our ideal person? That vision that we have, is it tied to, you know, we want somebody that replicates our father because we had father figures in our life? Are we looking for somebody that replicates our first love that broke our heart? So why the hell do we want to go there again?
Right.
Are we looking for somebody that looks like our ex because that's what we got used to because we were with them so long?
Right.
Like, what is that ideal? Why does it have to be a vision of what that ideal person looks like? Why can't you meet somebody for who they are, their personality, and go with the flow and see where it takes you?
You can. That's the way that it's supposed to be.
That's
You're
how it's
supposed to
supposed to
accept
be.
somebody, and then based on whatever brokenness they have,
Yes.
you say, will their creases match with my creases? Can I work with this? Can I work with this
Exactly.
level of brokenness in the person? Can I grow with them? Can I help them? Can they help me?
Yeah. Do they add value? My thing is, do they add value to my life?
Right. Or complication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this before, where it's like, I don't want to date a broke man. I'm 42 years old. If I meet a man who's 43, 44, 45, and he's not financially set, I don't want to be with him. Not because I need him to pay for my stuff, but
You just don't want to carry somebody.
what have you done with your life all along? Like, why don't you have something stable at this point in your life? Like,
Right.
that shows a lot of issues to me. We all hit rock bottom and we all start over at one point in our life or the other.
Absolutely.
But there has to be at least a plan. And there's men that you meet and they're like, "Oh, I live with moms." Does moms live with you, or do you live? No, I live with moms. Why? Like, why don't you want to be
Because
independent?
I live for free. What do you mean?
Exactly. And to me, to meet a man in your 40s that is still kind of living that life, I think it's a reflection of their maturity,
Yeah.
their confidence.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I want in my life.
Right.
I don't want a man with money because I don't need it, but I do want somebody who is already stable. That's not going to affect my quality of life and where I am today.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, and that's not something that I thought we would have been dealing with at this age.
I don't know. The dating pool, it's like I say, I swear I should have named this podcast because it always ends up revolving around dating. Because that's just, I guess, the common denominator that more than most have are dealing with now. Or maybe it's just a circle of people that were just like calling to us because we're
Because we're broken.
we broke like that. No, because we're walking down that path of like it was searching for that special other half or however it is that you want to call it.
Yeah. But I welcome it. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I feel that I'm ready for it. I feel that I'm ready to overlook, what my image of that person should be. And kind of, okay, how I'm looking for older now. I learned that from you.
Oh my God. You see how you make a difference?
You
do make a difference. You have to go for the older person, the older guy. Men mature later in life than women. Men, no disrespect to men, I do believe that women to a certain point are more resilient with certain things.
Yeah, and
we're a little stronger overall than a man. Like a man focuses on one task
at a time.
Yes. and he manages to achieve it.
Yeah.
We're focusing on 7.
Yeah, we're focusing on family, we're focusing on careers.
And
we're
it's just
focusing
a
on
biological
development.
evolution that we have. It's just the
Correct.
way that we operate. It has nothing to do with demeaning the man. It's just that's the way that we operate because we're kind of like the ones that are running the children and the household. And then the man's job is kind of like to come in and pay for the house and pay for the food. And, he's
They're
kind of
expected to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
It's, the
old school stereotypical values of what we were taught to believe a man should be. And I tell you this all the time. It's like my dad and the whole idea, he doesn't understand or accept that I'm such an independent woman and I'm doing shit. So he tries to offer me money, groceries, and I'm like, I don't need any of that. I can be providing that for you right now. But it's that old school generation and how they grew up and what he sees a man should be today and what a woman should be today. That is not the generation that we're living in right now.
Right.
So Yeah, and I feel that I have old school values with, a modern twist is how I would say it.
Your life has forced you to kind of become the
Correct.
independent woman that you are today.
Correct.
And it's either sink or swim right now, right?
Yes.
So at that point, you're an intelligent, vibrant woman, and this is just the way that life has forced you into this position. It's like back in the day where it wasn't as accepted or as open, a divorcee with 3 children, whatever the case may be. Listen, these women, and I've met a few that they're in their 80s now. And they've been widowed. Let's not even talk about cheating. They've been widowed with little children, and they've had to go and get 2 and 3 jobs in order to sustain the house and just run. And the kids are home alone. The kids are learning how to become more and more independent because mom has to now work 3 jobs to pay the bills.
Yep.
And they did it. And let me tell you, I have a case where it's a dear friend of mine's mother, and she's an amazing woman. She remarried again with her childhood sweetheart. It's so funny because life has a way of just doing. We really don't know how anything is going to end up, and sometimes the crazier stories are the ones that actually happen. So they were boyfriend and girlfriend in Cuba when she was like 15 or 16 years old. He was a very handsome man, and he was, soaking his royal oats with other women.
How everybody does.
And she was like, I'm not going to put up with this. This is, I'm not doing this with you. And she was a knockout gorgeous green eyes, like just a beautiful woman, beautiful inside and out. She really is just an amazing woman. And she ended up getting another prospect who was also an amazing man, who she was like, if you don't step up to the plate, I have a backup here. Or let's not call him a backup. She liked him. She was just at that point. Now you're making comparisons,
she was looking for a partner to move forward with.
She wanted to get married. She wanted to have children. She was a female, right? Like that's the way that we think.
Yeah.
And she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend, marrying the other guy who she had 2 daughters with, was an amazing father. They came to this country. Amazing provider, great job, a business entrepreneur. The guy gets a form of cancer. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was one of those that back then it was like a death sentence.
A lot of them were death sentences, unfortunately. Hutchinson, something.
One of those, where it was, there was no treatment for it at the time.
Yeah.
He ends up passing away, and her daughters, she had 2 girls. Her daughters were, like 8 and 10 years old, and nothing. Like I told you, she ended up having to get 2 and 3 jobs, working at the mall, anything that she could to just sustain her household. And she was able to do it, and she did a great job. Beautiful woman, never brought another man into the house. Her ex-boyfriend from Cuba,
the sweetheart from
finds out he gets a divorce.
No.
He finds out that she's now single.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. What? Starts pursuing her and chasing her and chasing her and chasing her. And she would tell him, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I have 2 daughters. He would show up with flowers at the house. They ended up getting married. They've been married for years. He took in her children. She took in his children.
Yeah.
They are one of those couples that you sit down and you see them in their 80s where she's feeding him sometimes.
Yeah.
And some men might look at that as weak. I see that as a beautiful thing. That you're at that level where you don't care what anybody thinks. That's my boo, and I'm just going to take care of him. And he does the same for her.
Yeah.
Financially, they're very well set. He had companies, took care of her. So now financially, she can depend on her husband, on her new husband, who they've created a great life.
Yeah.
Her grandkids are his grandkids because that's all they know. And it's just one of those stories where it's like how life has a way of full circling back around, where sometimes you might meet a person where it doesn't work out because it's just not the right time.
Yeah. Or they had the purpose in life. And
they had to go through other things. He was a political prisoner. He fought in the war in Cuba,
Yeah, she may not have survived that with him.
Right. He against the revolution, and he even ended up writing a book about it, just one of these political prisoners, very passionate, old school kind of mentalities,
Yeah.
And it's just one of those success stories that even if it's one, you look at it and you say, it is possible. It can happen.
Yeah, I don't...
I'm not saying with an ex. I'm just saying in general, like the love is there. You can find that person.
I don't give up. Like I don't I don't lose hope.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always say. I don't lose hope. As many times as I meet people who weren't it, people that disappoint me, these experiences have all taught me what I want and what I don't want.
Right.
So when I meet somebody and those red flags are clear as shit, I'm like, no, this is not what I want.
So that's the next part, right?
Exactly.
So the next part is, as difficult as this process is now, where we're meeting different people, right? Different personalities, let's call them. It gets easier, I think, because it gets to a point where, like, your bullshit detector is already like, what are you going to say next? I get it. Try to be, kind of like nonchalant. Don't get into a fight over it. It's not worth it. But at the same time, like you say, that bullshit radar kind of is... But it's on automatic at this point.
Some men, unfortunately, aren't open to those conversations. Like, I'm at the point that I pick and choose. If you were respectful and you were a gentleman and it just didn't work out, then I'm going to be like, look, I'm not feeling this.
Right.
Thank you for the time. Good luck on your search. I'm just not feeling this. But there's some men that are still extremely immature that you tell them something like that and it's like a switch goes off where then they want to turn around and insult you. So then we also have that safety thing that it's like, coño, does he know where I live? Did I give him too much information? Did I piss him off? Like, we don't know what makes a person tick. We don't know what...
I did learn that with, the cop Mahoney, where he was kind of like, you better be careful. Or women, obviously, he wasn't saying it directly. Or maybe he was. Maybe I was meant to meet him for that. But he was like, you have to be very careful with... You told me 3 things that I was able to pinpoint exactly where you live, where you work, just by 3 little things that you told me. Right.
You give somebody a phone number...
Yeah.
Like, if you're a property owner, that's public record.
Correct.
So if your phone number is tied to your address anywhere publicly, or anybody that has your information that sells it out there, that person can find your address in a heartbeat with a quick Google search.
Show up and...
So there's a lot of things, like I think we talked about, like Google Phone. Like, if you're actively on the dating apps, download Google Phone, get a separate number. And if they're like, why is this 561? I told the guy one time, I was like, this is not my real number. He's like, I can tell. And he's like, is this your trap phone? And I was like, absolutely, bro. It's my trap phone. Whatever the hell makes you feel better.
Trap phone?
Yes. But you have to be very careful who you give your information to because things can turn, crazy quickly.
There's a lot of wackos out there, and it goes both ways. It could be the female with the male, too. How many Lorena Bobbitt. I mean, how many stories...
we hear now the women...
the Mormon Jody... What was her name? Jody Arias, I think was her name. She became obsessed with very handsome man over in Mormon. They're Utah, And she ended up going to his house. They were having they were dating. Then the guy was like, "You're not the girl for me," because his whole religious background.
These love triangles.
But the sex was amazing. He never stopped doing that. He started playing her. She was a little bit off. The girl ended up showing up at his house and murdering him. Stabbing him 1,000 times.
Yeah. Those passion murders.
Passion
What is it? Women Snap? Is that there's a Netflix?
Snapped. I used to watch that shit on rerun. I was like, what? Marathon.
And Men Snap too. So my beams are out. I am on alert.
To be that way,
and the minute that something feels off, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like the other day I exchanged numbers with somebody because we had chatted a couple of days on the apps and I felt kind of comfortable. I didn't get a weird vibe chatting with him on the apps. The minute I give this guy my number, he sends me a photo. And I was like, okay, maybe he just wants to make sure that I'm not catfishing him. I send him a photo back.
Which that's very common with men. They've been telling me
It is. So that's why it's like, I'm considerate enough to see where you're coming from and trying to figure out why you did this. So I sent him a photo of myself just as like, okay, this is me too, But then like 30 minutes later, he sends me another photo of himself. And I'm like, what the fuck? Then it's like 30 minutes. I didn't answer. 30 minutes later, he sends me a photo of him sitting on the couch like with a cigar in his mouth. And I'm like, with a different shirt. So I'm like, oh, this isn't now. Like this dude, within an hour and a half, sent me 5 different photos. And I was like, there's something off. I don't know what it is.
That intuition, listen to it.
I don't know what it is. And I don't want to, I don't think that there's a mature reasoning why you would send a woman 5. Luckily, none of them were his dick because we've already talked dick pics in other episodes.
Don't do it.
But what purpose does sending me 5 photos of you have when we've already met on a dating app that already has a couple of pictures of you? Like, I think I've already said that I kind of like you. No entiendo. Unless you're like, oh yeah, this is my dog. Hey, this is my chicken. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Pero no entiendo the necessity to send somebody. So I just found it a little bit weird for a man in his 40s to send me 5 pictures of himself back to back when I'm not even reacting to them, or I'm not sending. I don't. That's it. And I let it die out. I didn't give him an explanation.
I think a lot of it has to do with like the age category. I'm telling you, if you go a little bit older, I'm not saying to do 70, you know, you have to be physically attracted.
My max is probably 50, 51, but I am 42, so I'm a little bit younger than you.
Yeah, 10-year age gap.
Yeah.
That's a good gap. That's a good gap. That's a good radar to go by. You know?
That's kind of where I'm testing it out. I've had some weird experiences, you know, with a man that was about to turn 50, and immediately I can tell that mature wise he wasn't there, and he was very materialistic.
Well, what happens also, like with certain men where they're that age, if they failed a lot, maybe they're going through like some sort of like a midlife crisis, which that's not midlife, but but
maybe we make it to 100. Maybe, you don't know.
Who have you met that has made it to 100?
Me personally, nobody.
Exactly. Our lifespan, and at the rate that we're going, we're done by 70, 75 maybe.
Nah, dude, my dad's 86 and he's still going.
Yeah,
dude.
that's awesome.
He's still going.
That is awesome. My father lasted to, like 83, I want to say. Yeah. He was 83. His mother, my grandmother, was also like, we last till about our 80s.
Yeah.
Our 80s, you know.
I think
so if I
that's a
base
good
it
time.
off of that, you know, unless I die in a plane crash, you know. Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah, but this dude, immediately the same thing. I saw the maturity wasn't there, and I just didn't continue it. You know what I mean? So,
and that's just it. At that point, I think that the more you kind of play with this, because it's a game. It's almost like a game, right?
Unfortunately, you have to see it that way. To not go crazy,
to not let it affect you.
You have to see it that way,
right? And at that point, you need to just detach as fast as you possibly can. I think that's how it is. Like, you know, because once you start liking a guy, you feel him in, right? You do the checklist. Okay, can I work with this? Am I attracted to him? Financially, is he set? How many kids does he have? How much child support is he paying?
What is his relationship with the ex? Is that going to bring
how's
headaches
baby
to
mom?
me?
Right, like all those things, right?
Health.
At
this age?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Health.
That's a big one for me too.
Yeah.
How's your health? What's going on with you? What are we working with here? Because if you get sick tomorrow and I'm in love with you, I'm gonna wipe your ass for you.
Exactly.
Because that's the type of woman that I am.
I went away one time with a guy who had diabetes, and I didn't realize it, and he had the machine.
Oh yeah.
Not like now it's very common for people to have the little detector.
They wear it on the.
Yeah, but it's like the detector with the app, so you can check your sugar level.
Correct.
This guy had an actual insulin machine that was attached to him that was feeding him the insulin constantly.
Oh, so he was like the type 2, like aggressive diabetic.
I guess. I'm not an expert in that, so I guess. But I didn't know he had that until we went to bed at night, and
you saw it.
He unplugged it, and the shit beeped all fucking night.
Oh my
God.
God.
I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's my insulin pump.
Oh,
so I was like,
poor thing.
Okay, does it have an off button? Like, what do we do?
Does it have to beep all night?
Does it? You know what I mean? And it's like we just had too much to drink, and he forgot to hand. But I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, those are things. Well, you don't want to talk about that on date number 1, obviously,
because we were spending the night already. Like, I think I should have known.
Well, I ask already. You know, I ask like, what am I working with you? Do you have high blood pressure? What are you taking? What am I working with here?
What are you taking?
Listen, because like I said, at this point, like I want to know what I'm dealing with. What's going on with you health wise? That's actually like a really big one.
And I agree with you. And one thing is like I've always liked very tall men, right? And I always think about it. I'm only 5 feet, like this little thing that's not very strong. If this man who's like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", needs help getting out of bed and I can't help him.
You don't know.
So it's like, what am I doing?
Or you might have the strength of Wonder Woman in a situation like that. You don't know how you're going to react.
But it's something dumb that has actually passed my mind.
Yeah,
like,
it's not dumb. I don't think that's a dumb thing.
As we start to deteriorate, as we get older, like, am I going to be able to help this man through this? So these are.
But listen, and it goes both ways. And I'll share a very personal story that I had with my parents. My father, who is now passed, my mother one time my mother was the one that always took care of my father because my father was always very ill, you know, political prisoner, drank a lot, smoked a lot his whole life.
That's usually how Hispanic
marriages
are.
You know, he just like devoured his body, right?
Yeah.
At that point. So My mother, who was kind of like, the freaking horse, always with the family. And she's also like a very tall, stoic type of woman. My father, I get a phone call from my father one morning, like at 7 a.m. I don't answer it in the first call because I'm still like, kind of like, is my phone ringing? Who's calling me so early?
Am I dreaming?
Am I dreaming? By the second time, I finally answer it, and now he's pissed. And he's screaming at me, tu mamá se murió, tu mamá se murió. And I was like, I'm still waking up here. And I'm like, what?
That's an
what do
abrupt
you
way to
mean?
wake up.
Right. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, your mom is dead. Your mom is dead in Spanish. And I was like, all right, what's going on? And he's like, no, pobrecito. He had to go out. My mother was taking a bath and she fainted in the shower.
Oh.
She completely fainted in the shower. She was having some heart issues already. And my mother's the type of person that she could be dying and she won't say that she's in pain.
It's very Hispanic.
Okay.
Very Hispanic.
So she let it get to a point where she fainted out of whatever it is that was going on with her at the time, which later we found out that it was a heart defect that she had, and she's obviously taking care of it with medication. So my father, who is handicapped, who's practically in a wheelchair, or was in a wheelchair, but he was able to walk, but he depended on the wheelchair or the little walker.
And her.
And her, correct. Yeah. Sees her, 5'9" woman, slumped over in the shower. He can't get her up for the life of him. He goes outside in the building, starts screaming, "Auxilio, auxilio, somebody help me."
Yeah.
God is huge. And I do believe in the higher calling of something bigger than us, whatever we call it. And a nurse comes and knocks on the door and says, or walks in the house, because he has the door open at this point. He's just going in and out because he thinks she's dead.
Yeah.
Alguien llamó para una enfermera. Alguien llamó auxilio. Alguien llamó auxilio. And my dad is like, sí, mi esposa está muerta. My wife is dead. She goes, let me handle it. I'm a nurse. Call 911. Get the ambulance to come over here.
He hadn't called 911 at this point.
No, my dad. He called me. I was 911. Right?
I don't think people understand.
I'm 911.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure half of the listeners and viewers are from Miami and can, but I think other people don't understand how Hispanic families function. It's not normal at all.
So the lady ends up picking my mother out of the shower, has the background and training on how to pick her up properly, where she's not going to dislocate her neck if she had heard it when she fell, and she's going to be a paraplegic now, right? All the things that you and I are not going to think about. We're just going to get her out of the tub at this point. They take her to the hospital. She was in the hospital for a couple of days, but I'm telling you that day I was also like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. What just happened here? Thank God that they have each other. Yeah. Thank God that my father was able to. So now I think about it all the time. My mother's now alone. Mm-hmm. What happens if that happens to her again? Who's she going to call?
Yeah.
I have my brother that.
I wasn't going to say it. You said it, but I wasn't going to say it.
My brother, his son, So that gives me peace of mind, believe it or not, because I know that at the end of the day, there's somebody that's actually walking in on her all the time and kind of feeling her out.
And I don't want to be alone. Like, being alone isn't a choice, right? Because if we don't want to be alone, there's probably like 5 dudes we can call right now that need a home and will move in right away and we're not alone. But that's not what I want. I don't want to be with somebody for the sole purpose of having them next to me day by day. I want a partner.
Yeah.
I want somebody that adds
You want somebody that
value.
You can build with.
I want somebody that we share affection, that we can be comfortable with each other. And it's really hard to find that today. There's a huge population of men who have given up on relationships. I had a booty call, friends with benefits for many months, from February. I think I finally cut it off in August, where I was like, I don't want this anymore. And I had that conversation.
That's not good for your soul.
It's not. And I had the conversation with him. It's like, dude, like, I only see you at night when I have the house to myself. You sleep over, you leave the next morning, and then I don't hear from you again until possibly the following weekend when you ask me if I'm alone or not. So it's like, we haven't really shared a dinner. We've gone to bars and had drinks, and then after the drinks, that's where we end up again. But we really haven't shared anything to have this energetic connection that I want to continue. Like, that gets boring after a while. Sex is great, but once you lose that excitement, then you need a different depth, right? A different connection.
You need a connection.
And then if you don't have it, then I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore, dude. Like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And he literally said, you don't have anything. And I was like, that's not true. I can move on to the next and have that for 6 months until it's no longer exciting. Move on to the next. Like, you don't add any
but
value.
you don't want to put that into you don't want to do that either.
You don't.
That's not good for your.
But he tried to give a friends with benefit of value, and I was like, no. There's plenty of people out there that you can have sex with. It's not what I want. Take me out to dinner. Lie to me. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, let's find some kind of energetic connection other than just going to bed together.
Right.
And he literally is like, but you have nothing now. And I was like, says who, Babo? Like, sex is the easiest. I don't give a shit if you're fat, you're skinny, you're ugly, you're black, you're white, you're Asian. Sex is the easiest thing to come across. So what value did that add to me? None.
Isn't that sad?
It is. And I made the decision that that's not what I want. That's not the message that I'm giving into the universe, right? Because I'm putting up with some shit.
Oh my God. But let me tell you that I have been practicing what we are preaching with the universe. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, say what you want and the universe will give it to you.
Exactly.
But you better be specific.
Yep.
You better be specific.
And it's what you say. If it's not the right timing, it's not going to give it to you.
Right.
I've had opportunities to move men into my house. They were ready to move forward. But there was something that man wasn't fulfilling in me that I wasn't.
But why is it that you're talking about moving a man into your house and not you moving into their house?
Because usually what's out there right now, unfortunately. So one of my requirements
then
is...
you block that motherfucker.
One of my requirements is I need to have the conversation, your place or mine. If that's not an option...
Well, and that's okay in the beginning when you're kind of dating, obviously, because you're still there.
Exactly.
But I think that as the male and female operate, I think that it has to be my opinion, and I'm sticking by my opinion. I think that at that point it has to be like even that, like if we're gonna have, where we're engaging and I'm spending the night, I'm going to your house. Where do you live?
So that's what I'm saying. So I need that option. I haven't had that option with many men right now today. Like,
I don't know, Jackie. I'm gonna have to start looking at your checklist on who you're matching with because.
Yeah.
That's something that you need to switch that gauge real quick because anybody where it's your house and not theirs or even forget about having sex. I'm talking what about moving in together and it's the conversation about I'm going to move
a barbecue on a Sunday night. Why
don't get me wrong,
mine?
you have a nice house. You have you have the space and the person has an apartment. At that point it's like, okay, rent your apartment.
Yeah.
With whatever money you're going to make off of that, we're going to pay here. And that's how we're going to kind of like, make this make sense.
Yeah. So one of my requirements is I want to have that conversation. You know what I mean? Like you have to have something where we're trying to figure out, is it better to go to yours or mine?
Yeah.
Hasta ahora, unfortunately, la calle está de pipi.
My cousin did tell me, and you know what? Like you pick up from things, right? And as you get older and you crash and you crash and you crash, you start learning, right? And you start really understanding it where you apply it. Because I think that's just the way that human beings operate. We kind of have to crash and fail to be like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah. But how many times?
That's the problem. Like how many times do we have to learn the same lesson over and over and over again? Exactly. But one thing that she did tell me, and as I'm getting older now, I see it. I see what she's saying. She said, Monica, make sure that the next guy that you actually date, where you get into a relationship with, make sure that he owns a home.
Yeah.
A home. It doesn't have to be a mansion. It doesn't have to be.
It can be a trailer. I don't give a shit. But you did something. You have invested in something. You sell that shit and you make 10 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have 10 grand in your pocket.
And that's what she was saying to me.
Okay. So one of my new standards, I'm not going to say standards, right? When the new year, I'm not going to do that whole new year, new me bullshit, whatever. This is me.
Oh, why? Everybody else does it. Why wouldn't you?
I don't, mierda. I don't think you need to, it's great to have a new year and it's great to have a beginning and
have a game plan. Have a game plan of growth. Plan.
So the only, I'm not going to say resolution because it's not a resolution. But the only thing that I told myself was, I'm going to leave in 2023 everything that didn't add value. Everything that didn't represent what I want for myself.
Right.
So I left the booty call because we weren't on the same page. We had the conversation. Mm-hmm. Like at least he had the conversation. I did a little bit of work in the house and he came and he helped me and I appreciated that he actually did.
It's the least he can do.
He did. I mean, I had to pay him because he brought somebody to do the work or whatever. But I was glad that he showed up when I needed him.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Correct. But I was like, that's it. There's nothing emotionally. We don't want the same thing. This dude wants to be single. For all the fuck I know, he's married. ¿Tú me entiendes? Like, I've never been to this man's house, so I don't know.
Oh,
So
maybe.
for all, maybe, but I
Maybe.
know that he's not adding to my goal in what I want emotionally from a man. So he stayed behind. There was this, we call on Story's Life, he's called the little Cuban guy. This dude was completely everything that I did not like in a man. He was shorter. He was super Cuban. He did understand and know English because he was a businessman as well. But this man had no time for me. He made time and effort the first time we met. Like, he waited around for me. I was doing my nails, and he waited around until I was finally available. And he was waiting for me at a place for us to go to have lunch.
Yeah.
Conversation flowed. The energy was there. Totally went in for the kiss. Really cutesy.
Yeah, they always do that in the beginning, though.
Exactly. I didn't see that guy for a month. A month, we get together again. We picked up right where it went off. But I didn't know when was the next time I was going to see him. And he would send me messages, and he would talk, and he would try to communicate. I don't know if he was under like this crazy amount of debt. But if somebody cares and somebody wants to be with you, they will make the time. Nobody's that busy. Nobody is that busy.
Correct.
And the energy was there. The attraction was there. Very funny guy. We would finish each other's sentences. I left his ass in 2023 too because you didn't put in the effort to continue this. I don't need a pen pal. I don't need a text message. Like, it's nice to get good morning and good night message, but that's like the fucking bare minimum, bro. Like, anybody should be doing that.
You know what? But I'm proud. I am proud that you are realizing it,
Yeah.
you know, and that you cut him off, because sometimes it just takes a couple of times to get smacked in the face and you learn the lesson, and
Yeah.
you're just like, I'm
done.
bigger and I'm better than this. What am I doing?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not this lonely.
Exactly. And I sent him,
not this lonely.
And I sent him a message that said, let it be known that I gave this an opportunity.
Right.
And let this be known that you did not match my effort. And he's like, is this goodbye? And I go, goodbye to what? Goodbye to our pen palism? Like, no. So I left him there. The dude that I went to the Keys with, which is actually
I
a
remember that
good
one.
friend of mine, you know, I realized that he was leading in a way where he thought there was an opportunity. And just by hanging out, I think I was kind of stringing him on, even though we never spoke about a relationship, or I always told him, I go, I know I'm the fucked up one. I know I'm the problem.
Well,
but
at least you were honest about it and open and upfront about it.
100%.
And then it's his choice whether he wants to walk into this, you know.
Exactly. So we go away for this weekend, and I think that he had some hope that something else would happen, you know, based off comments that he made. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play with that man's emotions anymore.
And that's good. That's big of you.
I'm
That's
just
important.
it
You don't want
is.
to, you know, that's not
I
good.
don't.
Don't mess with people's feelings. You
I
know?
don't. So I left him in 2020.
You've done it before. They've done it to you.
Yeah.
Stop
so
it.
I really not came back, but I really came into this year like, what added value, what is worth the effort, what is worth the energy? Nothing. There is nobody from 2023 in my dating roster profile life that was worth entertaining, you know, coming into this new year that actually aligns with my goals and what I want to do in life. So I was like, new beginning, you know. So I did kind of take a dating break during the holidays. Also going through like family things, as you knew. So I gave that the importance and the priority that it deserved.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not bringing that back in here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not worth it. I had a friend from my past where we had a couple of drunk exchanges, and he was like, you know, you can hurt me. And I was like, you're right. And you can hurt me too. So if we're not on the same page and we're not willing to move forward, then let's not entertain this anymore either. So I feel that I'm a little bit more
Colder.
not colder, but stronger in my intent.
Colder.
Like I'm not gonna hold back before where I was like worried about your feelings or how you're
That's
gonna
what I'm
feel.
colder. More selfish, maybe.
Maybe
selfish?
more selfish and self-aware and communicative. Like I'm improving in my communication. I'm gonna tell you, hey, now I'm not gonna do it to 5 picture guy. Like that guy has no fucking importance. Like that immaturity. Like that guy doesn't even have the capacity to have that
I'm
conversation.
not kidding. Like your new homework assignment is gonna be sent. Not that I'm doing such a great job myself, but you know, sometimes when you're not in it, like you're better, and then I'll send them to you too. You know, you just want me to date 40-year-olds. I'm not gonna do that.
Nah, 40, no. I don't want to date 40-year-olds, so I don't want you to date 40-year-olds, dude.
No,
No,
I can't do it.
but-
I can't do it for the life of me.
Yeah, so I joined Bumble again. I'm not paying for the subscription. Like, that's total bullshit.
I've never done the subscription part of Bumble or Tinder or any of that.
I have. But it's you look at it and it's the same dude, so I'm not paying.
And it's the same guys in every app. It's
Yes.
like they're everywhere.
Yes. And it's some of them are holding the same pictures from years and years and years ago, which I found ridiculous. But I did start.
Well, what happens is that they meet somebody, they date or whatever, it doesn't work out, and then they just reactivate the account. They never...
Papa, but I'll take a new picture, bro. Like, things change, man. Especially at this age. Like, wrinkles. I have fucking wrinkles. I'm not going to put a picture from 5 years ago because I'm sure.
Botox.
Nah, I'm not there. I'm not there. So, but I did start the year opening myself up to dating again with new prospects, with new people. I'm just not going to recycle the shit that hasn't worked.
Okay.
So I've gone on a couple of dates. One great, one not so great. And
so we're 3 weeks into the year. 3 weeks. Let's acclimate to the time frame here. Okay.
Yeah.
We are 3 weeks into 2024.
Yeah.
Jackie.
That's not bad. 2 dates
Look,
in 3 weeks.
Next part of the outline that I'm supposed to talk to you about. So tell us about your highs and your lows. Who have you met?
Yeah. So one guy, as the night progressed, he kept drinking. And the more he drank, the more his true self came out, you know, and we're going into a very difficult political year, and you have to be mature enough to respect.
I don't want to don't get me into
no, we're not.
politics.
We're not going to touch that.
Because,
we're not going to talk about that.
I just started getting red.
Yeah. But I think right now, this is just my opinion of the politics in 2024, I don't think there's anybody to rave about. And when you come into a first date already, like, bringing that in, like,
I'm going to disagree with you right now. I'm going to disagree.
And,
this
and
is
I
why
know
politics.
This is why I'm going to send you this guy, and you guys can go out and date.
No, tampoco like that. But
It's not a first date conversation.
right, no religion, no politics. There's a third one that you're not supposed to talk about. What is it? Religion, politics, for sure. Or maybe you do want to say like, hey, I'm a super Catholic person.
No, again, because maybe not. You know, because I also have very different religious values and beliefs. But I just feel that.
But then that's why it might be important to say it right off the bat.
First date, though.
Maybe. Oh yeah, there are people that are really that
He was
passionate
He was.
about.
Yeah, he was. And again, I could respect your political values and our differences at a mature, respectful level.
How are we friends? How are you and I friends? How did this happen?
Because we don't talk about that. Because that doesn't define us. You know what I mean? And I'm also...
I should have brought my hat, and I was going to do it for this podcast.
Was it red?
I should have brought it. But that's going to be for the next one.
But two mature people can have differences and still get along.
And just respect.
Correct.
There's a level of respect.
Half of my family is on one side, and the other half is on the other.
Yeah.
And we can sit here talking, and the minute that I see getting, a little bit, I'm like, we're done.
Back off. Right. Back away.
We're done before anybody... On a date, though, no. Like, and the aggression that this...
Unless, because a lot of guys on their profiles, they do mention that right off the bat. They're like, if you're a MAGA lover, swipe, what is it? Swipe left, right, whatever.
Swipe
Like,
left,
swipe left. Whatever, Biden lover, swipe left. Like, they're right off the bat that passionate about it, where they say, if you're not on my political...
And even if I was a Republican... And you're... Oh, shit, I just called myself out. Even if I was one party or the other.
Don't cancel us, please. Don't cancel us because she's Democrat.
I'm not. I actually believe that I'm moderate. I do realize that the country has to go from one to the other. The Republicans help the economy. The Democrats help the people. But... If respect my opinion.
You can't be in a position right now where you agree with the Democrats.
I don't agree
doing
with
a good job
shit right now. I don't agree with any of it.
You cannot possibly. You cannot possibly be okay with the administration that's
I don't agree
taking over right now.
I don't agree
that this is not a bigger agenda that they have.
I don't agree
that this is all planned.
I do not agree with any of it. I don't agree with the last 8 years.
Okay, let's stick to dating.
But anyway. We can have that conversation and still respect each other and move forward. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And this dude was extremely aggressive to the fact that somebody else at the bar asked me, "Are you okay?"
No.
And I looked at the guy and I said, "I got this."
No.
To that point. That's how aggressive, because he found another buddy and they were high-fiving each other and they were because unfortunately crazy attracts crazy. You know what I mean? And there's a different level. You can be a Republican, but when you have this passion, like I don't get it.
There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of
on both sides. And
I think that the people, I don't know. Should I say this or should I say this? I think that the lower IQ that you have, the
Yes.
more
On both sides.
right.
On
I
both
think that's
sides.
where you get to that level of fanatism
Yes.
where it's kind of like, dude, calm
Yeah.
down
No.
and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's debate. You
Exactly.
know, let's understand each other. What's your point of view? Don't repeat what you just saw on the news.
fucking Facebook.
Right.
No, it's not Facebook.
Don't repeat a meme that you saw.
Yeah.
Like, tell me really what's your positioning on this, and let's talk about
Yeah.
it. And we can choose to agree to disagree.
Correct.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And as long as we respect our values,
Yeah.
we can move. We don't have to agree, but we have to respect each other's opinion
Yeah.
and values on it. Period. He was not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was not
That's
there.
unfortunate.
So I had to let the conversation.
I'm
kinda
sorry that it
cool.
didn't work out with him.
I'm
I'm sorry that it didn't work out with
there
him.
was a moment that I was actually kind of scared. Like there was a minute that
Really?
it got that aggressive that I was actually a little bit concerned, and I had to let things cool down. Like he went to the bathroom, I could have ran, and I was like, if I run right now, I don't know what this man's reaction is going to be either.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Really?
that aggressive, that
Jeez.
aggressive. So I had to kind of play it down.
Smart
came-
girl. Well,
he-
you're a smart girl.
He came
you
back from
know.
the bath. He's like, "You're still here," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, if you stay at this point, it's because you choose to." I'm like, "I know,
Oh my God, I wish I had a hidden camera.
bro." Bad. So whatever. Like it was getting late. It was the Dolphin game, the fucking Dolphin games against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So I was like, "Look, it's getting a little tired. Oh, you don't give a shit about football. My
Okay.
bad, my bad." But it was an important game for Miami. We went to a smaller bar or whatever, but it was still kind of packed. And he even walked me to my car and everything. But I was like, no, like this is not what I want for myself. This is not somebody that I can have these
So
conversations.
how did you
with.
end it?
He did walk me to my car, hug, kiss, normal kiss. Thank you so much. I had a great time. He's like, let me know when you get home, and I go, I absolutely will. I get home. I
Did
sent
you?
him a message. I did. I sent him a message that says, hey, I'm home. He called me on his way home, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna answer. This is not somebody I can have this conversation with that it didn't work out because he's gonna lash out at me because of how aggressive I saw him. And then he tells me that his buddy, the other supporter at the bar, told him, hey, if you don't want her or it doesn't work out, let me get her number. And I was like, bruh. So that was my failed date of the year. Very
I can see how that can happen with a MAGA supporter. I could see how it could be a little. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that
Intensity.
happening. And he
Yeah.
was Cuban.
he was Cuban.
Yeah,
He was
right.
Cuban.
So
He was Cuban, pero Cuban americanizado, like cultured here. Not bachero, like not how I like them. Not the ones that still
Nah.
smell like rubber. Not those.
Oh my God. You did not just say that.
Anyway, then I had a very successful date. Also a man who is 50. So this guy was like 49. He turns 50 this year.
I like him. I like him already.
He has his shit together, you know, has a career, very
Cuban.
career driven, Cuban American as well.
Okay.
And this one has potential. This one's I'm still talking to. We still have communication. We went on one date. Like I actually we were supposed to go to a nice restaurant, and my date got complicated. And I was like, look, I'm sorry. Like I want time to get ready. You know, I want time to do my hair.
I want to look pretty.
Exactly. And I told him, and I can't. You know, I don't want to cancel. Though. Like we can go to McDonald's if you give a shit. Like if you don't care. Like I still kind of want to meet you. So we ended up at Flanagan's.
Can't go wrong at the Flannies.
Can't go wrong with Flannies. We had a great conversation. He didn't go in for a kiss, which I appreciate because I don't think it was the right time yet.
Older
But
guys are not like that. Older
God.
guys
Yeah.
give you your kind of like
Your space.
your space, and they feel you out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Younger guys are stupid. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, let's make out.
Pero-
No,
Exactly.
what are you doing?
Exactly. But no, like we still, he actually went away for the weekend, so we didn't get an opportunity to go out again, but he wanted to go out Friday night and I couldn't. So we do have plans to see each other again. And he sent me a message like, I like you. You know, I like you and I want to know if you're feeling this. And I told him straight up, I was like, I've been single for a very long time.
Yeah.
Kind of stuck in my ways. But if you have the patience, I'm willing to navigate this with
Oh
you.
my God, I love that. I love that delivery. Okay.
I have to. Because I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm fucked up. No. You know, like I understand, like my wall is up because he's like,
But the wall can go down
With
really
the right
fast.
person.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it can go down really fast.
but he commented me like on my humor. He's like, you're very funny. And I was like, look, my humor, my sarcasm is a traumatic response to my life experiences. You know, like but I want him to understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
Like I'm not an asshole.
And an older man can understand that.
And
you know, because
really-
they've also been, you know, they've also crashed and burned so many times,
but
right?
it's perfect on paper. Like, this dude's kids are grown. My son is grown. He has a
I don't
home.
want to like
Jinx it.
Yeah, I don't want to spike him up too much. Yeah.
But it has the potential, and I'm willing to give it the time.
I like this.
too.
I like this. So far, I like this.
Me
I
too.
like this.
Communication is great. He knows that I was having car trouble. He even told me, like, let me know if you need a ride, and I was like, I got this.
Oh my
He
God.
called me
That is a
to-
man. How can I help?
Exactly.
How can I intervene and help you?
Yes, he's like, don't get arrested, and I was like, it's funny. My son just told me that too. Like, I don't want to bail you out.
Right.
So I like the potential, and I'm willing to give it a shot, and see where it goes. You know, I haven't seen a red flag. He is shorter, but we just said, like, tall men aren't working out for me. So why am I going to hold on to that?
There's a package that we ask the universe for,
Yeah.
and we have to prioritize it with what's the most important. And I think that it's always going to be.
Physical is not
You,
it.
you really can't go by physical. You
No.
really can't go by physical. You can't go by eye color, right? Hair, tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I want-
you could have preferences
Yes.
where, okay, well, so he's 5'11", but his eyes are in blue. Can I work with this if everything else is falling into place? And listen, we're women, and I can't speak for a man, but if a man is into you, you're going to know what you were saying earlier.
100%.
If a man is into you, you're going to see that right off the bat. You're going to understand that. You're going to feel it. He's going to let you know, I want you.
Yes.
I don't want anybody else.
The fact that he sent, I like you, I was like,
That's what I'm saying.
the effort is
So
there.
at that point, he's going to let you know, I'm into you, to not let anybody else get into the picture.
Correct.
To block him.
Correct.
You know, I'm into you. Now, you say, can I deal with this? Can I deal with that? Is it working out? Do we have kind of like the same goals in life?
Yeah.
And little, but you may not be into him in the beginning,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh my God, that's, I don't know, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You know, that I just want to take my panties off when I see him.
Yeah.
But
That's
you know
not my
what?
priority.
But that happens with time, sometimes with a female, where you completely fall head over heels in love with a man because of who he is as a man.
Yeah. I agree.
And when you get to that level, now you're in. Now you're in 100%.
Well, I'm here for it. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously I'm not like, oh my God, I'm deleting the apps already. No, like, we've literally been talking for almost 2 weeks, and we met
Yeah.
one time. I'm not gonna stop it, but I'm gonna give it the opportunity that it deserves, because he's putting in the same effort that I would expect from him.
Good. Oh my
So-
God, I'm feeling this.
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
totally
yeah.
feeling
I mean,
this.
remember
for
you were also feeling the Puerto Rican guy that.
Which Puerto Rican?
Remember that I went to Puerto Rico and had like this little.
Oh, I thought it was like me. I was like, I dated a Puerto Rican guy?
No. When I went.
Oh,
to,
yeah. He
that-
never called or
He
anything,
never
huh?
called. He never did anything. That I mean, the other day, like one time.
Okay,
he,
but why are you getting negative because there was one negative experience and now you're going to
no,
compare
no,
it to
no,
another?
not at all. But I remember you told me, you're like, oh my God, let's give it a chance. No, that died.
Well, he didn't live here, and that was like the first problem, right?
Yeah.
Like logistics is
Yeah, I can't
is
do long
important.
distance.
It's important.
I know that I cannot do long
Yeah,
distance, and that proved it
logistics
to
is a
me.
very important part of any type of relationship. Like you know, I've met a lot of guys, not met, talked, Fort Myers area, Naples area, and then I thought about it for a little bit. And I was like, how is this gonna ever work out? Like,
Well, you know,
never.
I have like highway anxiety.
I'm not moving right
exactly,
now.
and I'm not going to drive 2 hours to see you every other
You're
weekend.
gonna come
or-
here, so I'm gonna see you every 2 weeks.
I actually wrote to a guy. I think he was in, I don't know, I think he was like in Tampa, Jacksonville, by arriba.
Yeah.
Fine ass guy. Beautiful body, bald, like just how I love him. And I match, and then I asked him, are you moving to Miami? He's like, no, why? And I was like, Papi, look at location. Like, are you reading profiles? Are you looking at details? Like,
They don't. They look
They
at your
don't.
face. They look at your body. That's all they're looking at.
and I'm like, no, I don't have time for it. I told you Broward didn't work. What the hell am I going to do a whole other like 3-4
Broward
counties
is
away?
not that bad. Now you're getting
It
complicated.
didn't work. He didn't make the effort, and
Oh, he didn't because that's not far.
no, he didn't make the effort.
That's not far
I
from your
even said,
house.
hey, I'm going to go to you, and that didn't even work. So I was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, okay, guys, también. No, he wasn't interested. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line, and you have to accept it. You know.
Exactly. So that's my update, Monica.
Ooh,
How's yours?
Hoo-hoo. No, listen.
Are we still on Bumble?
No,
We're not on anything?
We're on the Facebook one.
Okay.
The Facebook one, because I kind of don't like this, but I kind of feel that I should do this because I don't really put myself out there any other way because I'm always working and the kid and all that fun stuff that we have to do when we're adulting. So the Facebook one was kind of like less hoish, I guess.
And it's easy.
I don't know. It was
It's
just
easy,
I don't
too.
know. Don't ask me why. Listen, the characters on there, I should start taking pictures and blurring out their face, and we can do that next time.
You should.
Because sometimes I'm like, no, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, who does this? You know?
Even the Bumble ones, though, they're still...
Well, but I'm saying we're talking about that Facebook is a little more like clean cut. We're trying to say, you know.
Are the Cubans? You're not like getting attacked by all the Cubans on Facebook? Oh, but you're swiping left.
Oh yeah, like your donkey, your.
So, okay. So on Story is Life, the other girl, Valerie, is American.
Oh, she's
And
American.
She's American. So I started a list, and I want an American to sit here reading these names, and I'm gonna have her do it. So this is a collection of names from Facebook dating.
Judy Sander, Judy Sander, Julieski,
Julieski.
Junieski,
Julieski.
Julieski,
Julie Sky.
Junieski. How do you say this one? Junieski,
Maybe.
Junieski. No, I'm struggling with this, and I'm Cuban. Jonilson.
Jonilson.
Jonilson, Diolvis, Yusesli, Orelvis. I'm feeling that one. Mikey, Mikey.
Oh, M-A-I.
Maiki, Mikey. Oh, that's deep. Leodanis with a Milis tattoo.
Yes. So he had this huge tattoo on his arm.
Yardley, 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 like a yard, Yardley,
Yardley.
Yardley. Joelis, Jonier, Joanki. That one I've heard before. Joanki, Yoldanka. I used to hear that. I knew somebody in school that had that name, Yoldanka. Duneski,
Dunieski.
Are these like mixed like Russian and Chinese? Like, hold on, I'm not finished. Osnies.
Osniels. No?
Osnies.
Osnies. Fucking
Osnies?
hell, dude. I started making a list because I want her to-
Dilmauris. Yaikel.
So I want
Wow. That's like
Jägel Dilmauris.
I'm telling you because like I've read about that, right? Like certain
Yes.
people, like it would be like US Navy.
Yes.
US
Usnavi.
Navy.
So, you know,
US Navy.
I think I told you about like the Telemundo reporter that's Usnavi Perez. And I think he changed his name because he got so much shit about it because it was
Yeah.
Usnavi Perez. And he was a great fucking reporter.
But that's what they did. They literally
Yes.
saw like the
Usmail.
right? Yeah.
Usmail. Homer. There's a fucking bunch of Cubans called Homer because
I
of the
have
Simpsons.
a friend, a really good friend actually, and her name is You See Me.
You see me now? You
see me.
Yeah.
It took me a long time, and her brother's name was Sterlix. Or
Okay.
is Sterlix.
Okay, so that's...
Sterlix. What is that one?
I don't know.
That's like some Russian stuff.
But think about it, right? That this is a whole other generation, which I think is hilarious. And I thank God that my mom called me Jacqueline. Okay? But think about before, I think like our generation was all the Santos. Everybody was named Lázaro.
Maria.
Everybody was named Maria, Jose,
Yeah.
Caridad, Mercedes. You know what I mean? So this is just the now
Yeah.
generation. It
Yeah.
doesn't make it any better or any worse, but this is the Cuban generation of today.
Yeah.
Maris Lacy.
Maris Lacy's. That's always a joke that I have. That's like a name that I have as a joke.
Mine is Juana and Pepe. Like I call everybody Juana and Pepe.
Juana, Pepe, right? Those are such Cuban names.
Okay,
right?
but let's focus. Let's get back to your dating life.
Oh, I thought we forgot about that.
Nope.
You know, so I had an experience with
Sherlock Holmes. What did you call him?
Mahoney.
That guy.
Mahoney. No, listen.
I didn't meet him, so I don't have an opinion about him.
Something about him I liked. Didn't work out. My bad. More than his, I think. But there was something if it was meant to be, it would have happened.
Exactly.
Right?
If
Like,
it
that's
was
the way
meant to
that I
be,
see it.
you wouldn't have reacted. Well.
Right, but I recognize my errors, and I recognize kind of like
And
where
we
I
learn
could have
from them.
where I could have my delivery could have been different, you know. But it is what it is. We're crossing the bay, and then I met through the app also a chef, you know, and really nice guy, American, exactly what I'm looking for.
He
like,
cooked for you because I saw that.
oh yeah, oh God. Can I tell you the weight of my heart is through my stomach because
that was impressive.
That man cooked a spaghetti bolognese, which I am that person that I go to the restaurant and I order the same shit all the time.
Spaghetti is your thing?
Spaghetti with red bolognese sauce. Like,
My Italian dish is chicken parm.
yeah,
with
well,
spaghetti.
that's mine because when I try to divert from it and like get somebody else, get something else, I regret it. I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I get what I know? You can't.
Why didn't I just get spaghetti?
Yeah.
Spaghetti's like the chicken tenders of the Italian menu.
That was like one of the conversations that I had with him. You know, he was.
He asked you what your favorite Italian meal was?
Well, it was just we were talking about food.
Is he Italian or he just specializes in
Italian mother, German
Nice.
father.
Okay.
You know, but you know, you're whatever your mom is, right?
Yeah.
Like I do believe that from the bottom. Right? Like if your mother's Cuban, you're Cuban. I don't care if your dad's American, you're Cuban. You know, even if your last name is Smith. if your mother is Gonzalez, you're Gonzalez. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I can see that.
So nothing. We went out a couple of times. Great guy, nice guy. Divorced, has a young son. Check list, right? Like financially independent, great job, handsome, all those good things that we're looking for. Gentleman, fun guy. You know, we had a lot of things that we shared in common, I guess, right? I could see myself falling into a pattern.
Isn't it funny how we do that? Like we start envisioning ourselves with this person already.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was already like, you know, he has a really nice place on the water. I was like, oh, okay, I can see myself like my plus one. Here it is, you know, and something happened over the weekend where it just didn't rub me the right way, and I've learned through my growth and my
Experiences.
I don't know, like I'm learning my healing. Right? Alex.
Shout out to Alex.
Shout out to Alex from Story is Life. You know, with the whole healing process that you're trying to go through, which I believe that the older that we get, we all go through this process. And if you're not going through this process, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life because life is hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And something happened over the weekend where I was just like, why is every freaking hair on my body standing up right now?
Yeah.
You learn to just, you know, it's about being okay with you, being okay being alone, being okay as you are financially, right? That's not a problem. It's not like I need to like piggyback off somebody because I can't do it. No, that's not it. Like whoever comes into my life, you know, I went out with my girlfriends the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and one of my girlfriends is also single, and I'm talking about girlfriends since I'm 5 years old. And one thing that she told me, she's like, Monica, whatever you do not settle.
Yeah.
You know that's like stuck in my head because she's been single longer than I have. And I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. I
agree
don't
with
want to
you.
do it just because I have an event in 2 weeks that I don't know who to take to.
Yeah.
You know, get ready.
Call me,
I might have a
me.
rodeo that you're going with me in 2 weeks.
Shit. I
It's
have a
fun.
cowboy hat. I don't have cowboy boots, but I have a cowboy hat.
You don't have to wear boots. You can wear high heels for all you
Yeah.
care.
Do you want to go to the improv on Friday?
Next Friday? I'm in.
Let's do it.
Who?
Dairong.
Oh, I love him. I think he's so funny.
Yeah.
He's actually one of my favorite ones.
Bueno, we're going to go to Dairong.
I like him more than, should I say this? I do like him more than Mr. Red. And you
Guy.
know who I like a lot? Oh, Buffy.
Listen,
Buffy nature.
this is not going to get to
I
him.
get it. No, listen, I get it. He's funny on certain things, but it's
love
too
him.
much.
The minute he starts talking about ass eating, I'm done.
No, you know who I love though is what's his name? There's a few of them, right? The girls from mi un pujo. Mr. Red I like. Don't get me wrong. I think he's funny.
Mr. Red is coming back. So these are all Miami comedians.
Yeah,
for
Miami
people who don't
comedians,
know
like very
who they
local.
are. Yeah.
So Dario was the
Dario is
original one, like the shit that guy posts from Cuba where he's talking. I'm
And
peeing in my
Didon
pants.
is like a pharmacist. Didon has a
Yeah.
fucking career.
No,
which
and
is
his kids
why-
are hilarious. He posted one once where it was like his son was taking the shit in the bathroom, and his little sister's like knocking on the door, and and the little boy is, and he's recording the whole thing, and it's like the little sister knocking on the door, and the little boy is like, whatever, mi hermana, déjame cagar.
Yeah, no, I think he did one.
And he's like recording the whole thing. He's like, ay, te molesta que te están jodiendo cuando estás cagando.
You do it to me. You know which one I like?
Oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing.
There
with
was
that.
one that you see the blow up pool at the backyard, and the kid is racing, and the kid is racing, and the kid is racing, and he comes back and he's like, Dad, I beat him. And he's like, this motherfucker's alone. Like, who the fuck is he racing, bro?
The
And I was
spirit.
like, oh yeah, kids, remember that kids have a different
Yes.
intuition and they have a different level that they see shit that we don't
This
see.
was Dario?
This was Daidong. So he literally, like, the kid comes back and makes a comment like, bro, I smoked him. And he's like, who the fuck are you racing, bro? Like, there's nobody else here. So yeah, we can go to...
So the other one is Ramil.
Yeah, Mario. Mario's
Oh
good
my
people.
God,
He's good people.
that guy is
Yeah.
funny.
You know what
as
I
shit.
love about Mario? If you send Mario a message, he will reply to you.
Well, I've seen him like at events because he goes to my kid's school, or not him, his daughter. And I've seen him like, dude, the fact that I just recognized him
Yeah.
at a place like this guy's making
Yeah.
some noise.
So I've seen Mr. Red in public, and whatever, because
I'm a sucker for redheads. I don't know.
he annoyed me because he had opened up a GoFundMe account to start his production company, and people actually gave in. And I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, there's no handouts in this world. You gotta work for your shit. And the fact that he used his popularity or his viralness at that
I
moment,
understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't
little
like
bit
it.
like right.
yeah, I didn't like it. So I
But I think that has to do with that generation. Like, how old is he? Isn't he younger?
Yeah, he's
I
definitely
think
younger
that
than us.
it's more like for you and I. That's kind of like, ay, what are you doing? But
Yeah. A mí nadie me regaló nada.
for that generation, I think it's more the way that they operate.
Yeah,
Like, oh yeah, help me out.
Yeah,
come
I
on.
unfollowed him for a little bit. Then he married the cop, and I think she matured him a bit. They have a kid together, and he's funny again.
He's funny. He is funny. There's things that he does, and then there's that Godito that he works with a lot.
Yeah,
What's
that
his name?
guy's cute. I don't remember, but that guy.
So
that guy's
apparently
funny.
he worked at Power 96.
El Gordito?
Yeah.
He's funny. I
Yeah.
think when they do the clips and the hair
Listen, there's
shit.
a couple of Miami personalities now that
Okay.
are doing the whole improv thing. That
So tell Sydney to find something. Tell your daughter. Tell your daughter to find something to do.
I've
on
said her
Friday.
name so many times, everybody knows. who
Have
she is.
you? You sure? Okay. I want to make sure she's safe because I like her. She's cool.
No, we'll leave
Tell her to
her.
find some-
We'll
so-
leave her with Beaky. Now that we're saying all the names,
It's-
Maria Victoria.
It's a 10 p.m. show, and then the Copper Blues is right next to it, so we
Friday?
can have Friday.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. I was gonna tell Mr. New Prospect, but
No, tell
let's
me.
do a girl
I'm in.
night.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. I'm totally in.
Yeah.
Next Friday? Yeah.
El
I'm
26.
totally in.
There's like 8 things that people have invited me to that Friday, and I was like, I already have tickets to this event.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go with somebody. I had something better to do.
Listen,
And I was
let's
like,
have fun.
no
let's
pressure.
Do it. Dale. Yeah, I'm down. I'm in. Oh my God, I'm excited. I love stand up.
I've already seen him. He's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
And the thing is that we can relate to it because
Yeah.
his parents, like what he portrays, is
Right.
our parents,
Right.
dude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Where are we, Monica? I
We've
think
been-
we've been talking for like 2 hours.
no, I don't know. Like these podcasts, when we get
It's been a
together, it
minute.
could be 4 hours. Listen, I have been watching more and more podcasts that I'm like tuning into. There's one, Ahora me ha dado to listen to Navy SEALs.
Really?
Yes, because I just love the mentality that these men have because they're usually men.
The military is impressive.
No, there's something to learn about this like religious routine.
Yeah.
And the way that they operate. And it was like the other one, like I was watching the podcast on the Sean Ryan show where he was an ex-Navy SEAL and he was interviewing, what's his name? Rob O'Neill, who was one of the guys that killed Bin Laden. Okay, he was one of the SEAL Team
I
6.
can't even imagine.
Yeah. But it was like, it's one of those like podcasts that I'm like, what?
So the Broward dude that didn't work out because he didn't put the effort in was military. And just seeing his picture and seeing his discipline.
Yeah, there's something about that.
Holy
and one of the
shit,
things
bro.
that this guy, Rob O'Neill, talks about, he's like, when you're in, Navy SEAL school, buds or whatever it is that they call it, make your bed in the morning. Well, how was it? Like, it was like and it's so basic. It was like, wake up on time. That's what
Early.
it was. It was wake up on time. Whatever it is that you have to like, if you have to wake up at 4 a.m, wake up at 4 a.m. Like, get the fuck up when you're tired. Wake up on time, do your bed, and show up on time. Whatever like, it was something, or brush your teeth, whatever. He goes, that's 3 things that you've achieved already. That's on your checklist that you did right. That sets up the pace for the rest of the day.
Yeah. So I
And
have
everything that you have to do.
I have a friend, which is actually an old fling of mine, that continues to get himself into these situations with women that it doesn't work out. And one of the things that I told him was, you need to work on you and your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. You're hot as fuck. You're great in bed, because I know he is.
Been there, done that.
But there's this level of maturity that's missing. And it's like, and you need to work on that. You need to work on making yourself better.
Yeah.
And I was like, put that shit on your mirror. Put it on your phone. Like, it's been years that I've known this guy, and I've never actually told him, your problem is that you have low self-esteem. Your problem is that you conform with whatever it is you are in life. But when you work on you and you build yourself, you're not going to put up with shit from any woman, because you already have very valuable traits. But you have to be disciplined to get yourself to where you need to be, so that you have the confidence to say no to anybody. And I feel that military men have that.
Well, one of the other things that this guy was explaining was that when you get into that level of routine, right? Whenever anybody comes in and tries to kind of like divert
Break
you
it,
from
yeah.
that, there's, how was it that he positioned it? Like, it's just like interesting, because obviously you and I don't operate this way.
Yeah, definitely.
But
not.
it was kind of like, no, and the fact that we're also females, I think it's also like a very male kind of trait that they have. And if, as a female, you're going to be in the military and become a Navy SEAL, which I know that there have been some, but not a lot, right? Like, it's a very male
they're
thing.
the most strict, no?
Well, the thing is that it's the way that they think. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you're married, you get a divorce. Your husband cheated on you. I don't know. He died. Something drastic. Okay, cry it out. Cry it out.
Get
The
the
next
fuck up.
day,
Get the fuck up.
get the fuck up. Go do what you got to do and move forward. That's in the past, and it has to be like this switch that you have in your head.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, but I think that's also like a very male thing. It's what we were talking
I
about
feel like-
earlier.
I feel
It's
like I function that way.
It's a compartmentalizing way that male biology has, where they can do that. Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend. My kid is sick.
They get over it. They get over it.
It's not that they get over it. They put it in like a little box, and they focus on the one thing that they have to, and they do that really, really well.
Yeah.
A female might do it a little more half-assed because she's doing 7 things at the time.
Yeah.
And now we're looked at as, oh, she's not doing a great job. No. It's just that we're doing 7 other things at the same time that you can't do.
Yeah.
And that's what he was kind of saying. And the reason why I'm so attracted to kind of like this thinking now, which I don't know if I can ever get to that. First of all, I'm older. I'm a female. I'm older. I'm kind of set in my ways to a certain point, so it's really hard to break that. But I do think that you can do whatever it is that you put
With the
your heart
right
and your
person.
mind to.
No, with the right person,
No, the
bend.
right person is me. The right person is me.
Pero bueno, you change some of those standards. You bring the wall down when the right person comes along.
Right.
We just haven't found them.
But it's about just really focusing on what it is that you want and just sticking to it. And if anybody comes in and tries to kind of like, oh, I'm moving into your house because your house is bigger than mine.
The
No,
fuck you're not.
No, you're not. This is what I want. And that's where the whole boundaries things comes into play. And you say, I like this. I'll accept this. I won't accept this.
Yeah.
Can you work with me? Yeah. And then at that point, it's like you say, okay, maybe this is something that I can work. Because listen, we're also not there 100%. So I'm sure they're coming at us going, oh, this girl has this girl has that, right? So we figure it out that way.
One of the things that this guy that I'm talking to impressed me with, he asked me, what is your love language?
Oh, yeah, that's like a thing.
It
That's
is
like a thing.
It is a thing.
What is your love language?
My love language is acts of service and quality time. It's not affection. I don't become affectionate until I don't fall in love.
No, I'm not affectionate, period.
I think you are.
No, unless we're naked. No, I'm not an affectionate person.
And you're just horny.
No, I'm not affectionate at all.
I'm not. And I don't show love with
Like,
affection.
I feel uncomfortable holding hands in public kind of thing.
I can do that if I'm in love.
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
so he asked me, and I asked him, and I was like, what's yours? And he's like, affection and quality time. And I told him, I go, it's not that I'm not affectionate. And you need to understand that love language doesn't mean that. I had a guy unmatch me because our love languages weren't compatible. I think I talked about that on the last podcast.
Did you?
And the thing is that it's not about being compatible. It's that I need to know what your love language is so that I know how to give it to you. If your love, and he called me out on it. He's like, you say you're not affectionate. He's like, but you reached over the table 2 or 3 times to touch me. And he's like, and that's what I liked about you. So you think you're not affectionate, but you are. And I was like, of course, if it's the right person and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Like,
if you feel it, you're
Yeah.
gonna. I think it's just like you're not even thinking about it and you're doing
Correct.
it, right?
Correct.
But if it's forced upon you, like a
No,
guy
you're uncomfortable.
just comes and holds your hand and you're walking in public, you're kind of like, what are
you're
you
uncomfortable.
doing?
But I also get touchy-feely. The more I drink, I'm more like, hey, like I reach out.
yeah.
And I wasn't even drunk or anything. Like, I'm not really drinking that much right now. So, but he called me out on that. And I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. The fact that quality time, like we match there, I can see it. Like, today is a beautiful day to go down to the Keys. Today is a gorgeous, like weather in Miami today is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it would've been nice.
It is nice out there today.
It would have been nice to have somebody to go to the Keys and just have a drink and come back home. And I feel like he is that guy that likes to go on those adventures.
We're talking about the older guy.
the older guy. Yeah, but he's not here right now. He's out of town.
Oh.
So whatever. But we have that in common, and I like that. So it doesn't. Now that I know that affection is his love language,
Yeah.
I know that when he gets home, he's gonna need a hug. He's gonna need a kiss. He's gonna need that moment.
And if you're feeling it, you'll do it. That's just it. If you
Absolutely.
like him, that just comes naturally.
Absolutely. And
You
then
know?
acts of service being mine. Him offering me a ride if I'm having a hard time, like that's an act of service for me.
Absolutely.
So I think that's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, well, I hope it works out with you with this one.
I hope so too. I'm not, I'm open to it. That's what I'm open to. If it doesn't work out, we move on. We keep going as we've been doing for the past 5 years, but I'm open to it.
Okay, well, I'm back out there. I'm back on the scene.
I have a question. Don't hate me.
Oh, God.
How's Kevin?
Kevin?
Don't hate me.
No, listen. Oh, Kevin, you're talking
I'm talking about the cat. I'm not talking about the fucking man. Fuck him.
Kevin has become part of the family.
Okay.
He sleeps in the back. I have a little area for him.
Okay, we made him comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, no. He doesn't even try to get in the house anymore.
Okay. He's accepted the fact
Food
that
and water. Like he's sharing it with the raccoons, like they're all friends. Like it's all one. The neighbors bring him food, but every morning, part of my routine with my own pets, I go outside and I give him, he always has food and water. And
he had
has
a chance. He had a chance.
He was peeing in the closet.
Yeah. No, I don't
Didn't work out.
disagree with you. I
Didn't
don't
work
disagree
out.
with you.
Didn't work out.
I
It
did.
didn't work out. I tried.
But he's good. He's there.
He's good. I love him. Like my mother came over today and she was like, "Que gatico." Like everybody loves him. He's so sweet.
Kevin's good.
Kevin found Jesus with me because he's now in the streets. He's got a few scratches on his face, but you know what? The streets.
Hialeah's gonna bring it out of you, bro.
The streets is no joke. But yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. Yeah.
I'm glad that you kept your home intact.
Kevin, everything happens for a reason, and Jesus brought Kevin to us.
And he's good. That's it. That's all I got, Monica. I just want to make sure Kevin was okay.
Okay, so we're gonna end the podcast this way. This was fun, Jackie.
It
Thanks
was
for
fun. It was fun.
catching up. Dating. We always get to the whole dating scene and updating everything. It's it was since
It's a hot topic.
Yeah, since the beginning of December. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute with catching up. A lot's going on. I'm sure that the next time we talk, it's gonna be more exciting stories to.
Hopefully, we have better stories.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to figure this out as I go. Jackie is now a podcaster on her own.
I am. But this is all you, girl.
No,
you did this to me.
But listen, thank you. You see,
You did this
see
to
how
me.
this works somehow.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you share love, and it keeps growing and
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah. That doesn't mean this is my last podcast with you either. I'm not
It better not be.
I ain't married to
You're
nobody.
the original OG on here.
I am not married to nobody.
But I do thank everybody for watching and tuning in. I know that sometimes we talk a lot of silly stuff, but I think that this is just part of it. We kind of
It's relatable. I think it's very relatable. So one thing that I've found through podcasting on Story is Life that we actually have fans. Like somebody, because he likes to share his email address, and somebody wrote to us.
Yeah, I saw that. And
somebody wrote to us and actually said, like, I relate to us. She's a fan of my, comments and craziness. And
well, let me tell you, and I'm going to say this, and if you want, I'll excerpt a clip on this and put it out there. Alex is great. He's really good. I think that you're definitely bringing in a pizzazz to that show that he needed, because he needed that kind of dynamic. I know that he has others on his show. I don't think it's helping so much. But listen, it's his show and he does whatever he wants, and he's feeling it out. I'm sure he's moving forward as it is. But like, I listened to your podcast. I've heard a little bit because they're really long too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, my ADD kicks in and I can't do it so long. But I've heard him with the other person that I hear when you're on, and it's like you give it a whole different vibe.
so Valerie is younger than us.
No, and you've explained this to me, and I'm not talking negatively about her in any way.
I think I want the four of us to get together. That'll be cool.
There's just like, and again, it's nothing against her. I think Alex is, he is the host of the show.
Yeah, it's his
But
show.
there's something that you bring in, and I've always told you that. I'm like, you bring in a little, like, you have this charisma about you.
I play devil's advocate, though, because I understand Valerie's younger, so she'll give her point of view. She loves to attack him, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
So then I play devil's advocate, and I'm like, I see her point of view, and I see why she's calling you out on your shit.
Right.
And this is how a lot of women perceive it. And you need to realize it. Like, you're talking to people, and you don't know their age, their demographics,
Right.
But you also have to be considerate. So it's like, this is what I want, but I understand why somebody would perceive it.
And
a different
maybe
way.
that's the part, but maybe that's what makes the show interesting. Because you
It
do,
is.
like the little, clips that he posts, I'm like, well, now I'm like, let me see what shit they're talking now. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like how you start hooking people, right?
Yeah.
And he does have a good show going. I think that it's interesting, the stuff that he talks about. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
but I think that you have been a great asset to it.
To see a man be vulnerable is
But
unique.
you've been exceptional to that show. Really, it's just been a good thing. And hey, you never know. Maybe one day you do your thing. And
I don't know, man. I don't own all this shit. I don't know. Maybe.
little by
Maybe
little.
not.
Listen, I just got the headsets.
We just got headphones.
I'm just like, it looked
No.
cool on Joe Rogan. Let's try it on the Bear Experiment.
I
Let's
like
see where this
talking shit
goes.
with you, though. So
No.
we'll continue these for sure.
For sure. But thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate your support. As always, if you guys have a second to just click on the subscribe button and like the show. If you're comfortable with sharing the clips, that always
Comment.
helps the show grow
Yeah.
and get more people to be comfortable enough to just kind of talk about their personal issues and
Where they are in life.
where they are in life, and just the vulnerabilities that we all want to hear about from others, because it just shows us that we're not alone and we really are all going through the same struggles.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that because we're kind of in our heads all the time.
Yeah. It's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to talk to a friend.
And you don't have to pay a therapist. You really don't.
this is
You don't have
free.
to pay. This is free. You can do it for free.
This is free.
Yeah. But thanks you guys for watching. Thanks again. And Jackie, thank you.
Thank you, Monica. We'll be back,
Appreciate it.
man. We'll be back.
We'll be back.